Hello, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and something, something, something. Please laugh at that. But last night we did a live stream and we went in on the Monikala Grenade. So the D20 of Destiny smiled upon us, and this is what we got. And if you haven't seen one of the random roll live streams, when we start off, a 20-sided die picks out one of 5 knives on the table, and this is what we got. So let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. One of us is going to lose sleep over it. And first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We have got frag pattern G10 on the scales, pocket clips reversible. We have got a flipper tab. Let's flick the bean. And we got about 3.5 inches of D2 steel. So, when I carried this and did my initial review on it and, doing my review on quality of life and whatnot, this thing did pretty well. I had one singular complaint, and that was the dingus end of this right here. That had a very, very sharp edge right on that last little piece where it got milled out for the pocket clip, and I had to take a file and break that down and soften it. When it was in the waistband, it really dug in and irritated like all holy hell, but once I got that down, this thing wound up being really good. And, like it sliced like crazy. It did very, very well for my day-to-day use. No complaints there. And of course, Monikala's got the Assault Team series of knives. I believe it's the 1, 2, and 3. And this one up on Amazon, I haven't seen anything else. There might be something up there if we went and looked again. It's been a while. But, I do enjoy this knife quite a bit. Now, going into the live stream last night, you can see the texture on this is extremely aggressive. This is an extremely aggressive texture on it. There you go. So I automatically assumed we were going to see some hot spots. And Lord Almighty, we did see the hot spotting. Whew! So that was the big takeaway from this. Hot spotting. It took maybe about 5-10 minutes for the hot spot to start showing up right here. And it just got worse and worse all night. Like by the end of this thing where we wore the edge out, it hurt so much. I just did not want to cut another thing. So, it wasn't a problem doing my regular cutting. It wasn't a problem doing my normal thing. It's just for repeated hard cuts and pushing this thing pretty hard, you gon' feel it. So, aside from the hot spotting, this thing did fairly well. It's D2, so we knew what to expect out of it. And when we started up, we got the electronic tester out, and we pulled off of a couple of tests, 214 to 250, somewhere in the lightly used range, which ain't that bad. It did get carried, it did cut some cardboard, it saw a little bit more use than they normally do, so that is within the realm of believability. So, we cut, and after that first hour, we got a 405 on the tester. And of course, the hot spots were getting really bad. And that 405, again, it's a believable number. Like, as we do this, and I'm getting more time using the scale, I'm starting to see the numbers that show up. Yeah, that's pretty much in line with everything we're seeing. And this thing did the weird thing. We've had a couple of knives do this, but at 2 hours, we got a 622 on the scale with, one of the test clips, not one that I strung up myself. And that seemed a little excessive, and then at the 3 hours, it got down to 450. So we're trying to figure out what's happening there. There may be a part where the edge started to roll and then we broke that roll off. I'm not sure. But that was a weird number on the scale, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on that and seeing, what's causing it. Because, I don't know everything about everything. I am learning as I go. And, of course, we've had the scale for a little while. But I think we've only done a few live streams on it in all reality. And, we burned up a bunch of test clips, retesting and doing what we did. So, yeah. But, it calmed back down to the 450-ish where they're usually pretty stable and stay around there for a while. And then we went for another 40 minutes. We hit 560, and that was the time of death. So if you haven't been here before, D2 on a factory edge pretty much always goes for 4 hours without fail. And the only reason I think we lost that 20 minutes is I wound up cutting a lot more of the stiffer wall cardboard that took a lot of extra pressure to push through. I should have dug out some less difficult to cut stuff and saved myself some pain, but once I was going, I was going. So the numbers on that are very, very believable for D2 with a good edge and a good grind on it. No complaints there. So, it did what D2 does. The steel is solid, and again, if you're not pushing this thing through a ton of heavy cuts back to back to back to back, you'll be in good shape with it. And I believe these things are around 35 bucks on Amazon. Don't quote me on that. I did not go look before I started this because I rarely do. These are pretty improvised and off the cuff. But we did sharpen this, and I'm working on figuring out how to get these below 100 on the scale. And I think I'm dialing it in slowly. This one pulled a 125 on the scale after we sharpened it. Let me get a piece of paper and show you those fancy cuts, because copy paper is the end-all, be-all of a sharpness test. Oh, I borked a cut. We're on camera. Why is it when I'm on camera, I start borking cuts? Jesus. Because, yeah, like last night, this thing was blazing through it like that. Every cut was like that. So, like, we got it good and sharp, you know, and I do enjoy my sharpening. And I will say, I think you guys, over the course of the month through Super Chats and memberships and all that, have gotten to this point where we can get the Precision Adjust Professional, which means aftermarket stones, possibly higher grits to polish with. Because the Precision Adjust Elite cuts off at 800 before you jump over to ceramic. I'd love to have a lower grit to hog material off at a 120 grit, and then a 1000 grit or a 1200 to finish it off with before we hit the ceramic. So we're going to have options at the end of next month. But, you know, I definitely spent more time on this. I stropped the hell out of it, and I finally saw a burr come up off of this D2, and that's one of those things that has been driving me nuts. But from what I'm seeing, the burr is damn near microscopic on these, which is part of why I've been struggling so much to get these sharpened up right. But, you know, this thing sharpened up good. It did great. And, you know, it's just, the big takeaway from this is the hot spots. My God, at the hot spots. You know, and like, I like to throw something that looks like it's going to have some problems on the table in the mix with the ones that should be good, just to put some stakes on the roll. And I was hoping I wasn't going to get this one. I really was, just for the hot spots, but we got them. And of course, I had done a live stream the night before, so there was already some wear and tear on this part of my hand. The knife that we did that night had pretty good ergonomics. It didn't really do a whole lot, but it kept, you know, like if you cut for 4 or 5 hours, something like that, and you're pushing down on this part of your hand, and, you know, the back of that knife is pressing in there, you're going to have some soreness no matter what you do. Combine that with the hot spots on this, it hurts so much. But I had to do what I had to do to find out for you guys. And I wanted to know myself. So, overall, I still have a very good impression of this knife for an EDC blade. Like, it does what it does quite competently. It's just, if you're going to be doing a lot of cuts back to back to back, this might be one that you want to skip. So, I can't think of much else to say about this thing. You guys know I love sharing what happened with you with Cardboard Slayer after the fact. That's what happened with this one. It was a great live stream, too. It was a beautiful kind of chaos. So, if you haven't dropped by a live stream, please do. They're a ton of fun. But, yeah. All that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so, so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We do have giveaways coming up. We have got, you know, our live streams. We got plenty of videos. There's a ton of stuff to do here. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. I know you guys liked it whenever I first showed it a while back. But all that being said, y'all have a nice day.